Now, guys, it is the Live at 5. It's Hugo Quintanilla with Long and Foster. I just wanted to say hi and welcome you guys to the Live at 5. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me for another day. Today's been another great one. I have just been, oh man, so much information to process. The interview that I had and profile that I had and showcase that I had with Eric Johnson from Prosperity Mortgage. If you haven't seen it, please do me a favor, go check it out. It really is a treasure trove of facts and figures and just good tips on the world of lending. A real world perspective from a real world human. And like I said in that interview, we all started somewhere. We all began not doing what we're doing or not doing what made us successful or not doing what really produced us initially the most money. It might be something that we'll build up to. And during the course of the interview, it was so great to hear him talk about the moments where they took the leap forward and were chasing after the carrot and took that plunge, buying a design firm, taking the initiative to take your future by your own hands. Entrepreneurship is lovely that way, and being able to embark on your own adventure in your own control is phenomenal. It really does change the path of not just your life, but the life of anyone that is in your family and that you want to bring along. Because remember, these are things that don't happen in a vacuum. We are part of a community, we are part of a society, and the current ebbs and flows between all of us. And he spoke on community and building community, and I sat there. I don't know too many places that I've lived where there has been a large community. And when you witness what a large community is like in person, for example, when you go to Rockville or when you go to the Kentlands, two huge communities that have such amazing community events and community outreach. Not to say anything bad about any other place, but there is dedicated attention to events like that. Gaithersburg, the city of Gaithersburg, does an amazing job to try to make these events accessible for a lot of people. And there are so many programs that he mentioned that are government sponsored that can help. So, really, guys, I don't want to harp too much on that, but I've just been swimming with all the information that he told us so early in the morning. I've kind of been processing that, taking care of a few things, doing some holiday shopping, and yeah, just finding gifts. Things are expensive, guys. Like I looked at a sweatshirt. A sweatshirt was $30, and it had Snoopy on it. Okay, cool, but it's at Target, and it's like, come on, I'm not going to pay $30 for a sweatshirt. It's just unfortunately myself. I come from a retail background. I've seen clothes manufactured. I know how much the ins and outs of clothing manufacturing are wheeled and dealed. So I'm not gonna be one that's gonna sit there and tell you, hey, go shop now. But it translates. It translates into what we're seeing as a whole. As I was trying to gather my thoughts about this live after doing the live in the morning, I really kept thinking about how we talked about resetting and taking a step back. And sometimes budgeting and sacrificing and taking a few moments to really reassess where your life is going, how that can multiply your efforts tenfold. It is really amazing to see when the efforts of two people produce such compounded effects as they did in his life. It's truly a blessing to be able to buy new construction. I don't think a lot of people talk about that. It is very hard in a financial sense to buy a property that's new construction just because of the competitive nature. You're talking about some of the latest technologies, best features and luxuries that you might have, but it's a home. It's a home nonetheless. And some people will argue that it's a new home and that it's a home that's better built. Maybe in some cases correct, maybe in some cases not. His situation was particular because they give incentives, which is very true. If you're thinking about buying a home and have the money to do it, buying new construction is phenomenal way to do that and to buy a home that's new, that you create your own. But you guys heard him in that interview. He looks back and thinks, hey, if I could have kept it, that would have been great. But that reset led on to a few other things. And I'm sure there were many more things. There was no way that we were going to get through the infinity of things that I could have asked him about how things got the way they got. But just the information that he gave you about balance, about putting the carrot before the horse, about motivating yourself and getting up. I think it speaks to the first or second live that we did together where you gotta put your feet in front of each other. You gotta walk out there. You gotta hustle. You gotta try. Because if you don't do it for yourself, no one else is gonna do it for you. There needs to be a balance between ego and your life. Balance is kind of a reoccurring thing. I saw this amazing skyline coming in and I just thought about it. I was like, it was just right in half. And it was overcast and it was a beautiful color underneath and just clouds up on top. So it's just one of those winter kind of things that happens here in Maryland. We get all 4 seasons. So it was beautiful. I wish I actually would have taken a picture of it. I probably would have showed you guys now. But it just made me think about balance and about how that Starbucks, coffee here, that Uber Eats there, that Uber ride there, that could all impact you financially in the long run. Are you really, we're seeing a lot of people with Klarna and Afterpay. Are we really leasing away our lives? Not just in a home, but financially to some of these organizations. I could tell you if some of these places had credit cards, I know tons of people that would buy them, exclusively. And some of the brands that you might shop with exclusively just because you get points on cards. I get the sense that things are pricey, but you got to take accountability of where you are and where you want to go. You can't let your ego get in the way. Your need to keep up with the Joneses and get that single family house stop you from actually saving your family, maybe getting a home. Sometimes relationships are broken because there are a lot of stresses, financial, housing, a lot of stresses that are sourced and are caused by uncertainty. And having something that is certain sometimes is maybe not the most exciting thing. But goodness, you're going to look back at your progress and slow and steady will always win the race. You just got to realize what race you're running. So I think that's kind of one of the easiest ways to, in a roundabout way, say that you got to be patient with yourself. You got to give yourself grace. You got to learn. It costs nothing to run the numbers. I could not have said it better. And his analogy at the end, talking about how things were a speed bump, it's exactly what it is. They're just temporary speed bumps. It's not a wall. People that don't even belong to this country, so to speak, I can help purchase a home. It's just the money has to be right. The financials have to be correct, and they have to just follow the rules. There's guidelines in place. We can help you. There are ways, and there's nothing stopping you from just getting the information. But make sure you get the information from a reputable source. I wanted to highlight Eric first because you don't just get 20 years of experience doing what he does just willy-nilly. You don't. He started in 2003, and from there on, he's seen his highest point and his lowest point within the market. You can just see that he's lived that experience, and he's seen the mini markets, that the mini cycles, I should say, that exist. Because some of the bigger names will say that they're 10-year cycles. They kind of go in and out for seasons. And real estate is a seasonal business, especially depending on where you live and if you have all four seasons. So there are times that are great that everyone can buy, and there are times that no one can buy. But it doesn't really matter if at the end of the day you're ready for when the time comes. I think there's some pivotal points when you should think about purchasing a home. Personally, I look forward for the day that I have a child and purchasing a home, settled in an area where is good for them and good for my partner. I hope that we all find places that we need to fulfill our needs. I have situations now, and I will ask if anyone has any resources for someone that is on disability, and is willing to work with someone with very little income. I very much plead that you reach out to me. Probably a February move. Um, but cases that there are some cases I can never help. So the best I can do sometimes is try and educate people. Sometimes I feel like I talk into a black hole because, you know, you'll tell people things again and again and again. And that's what really kind of made me want to do this and start to document a lot of these conversations. You can come back to this and play it again and again and again, and maybe something different will come out every time. But I hope these conversations and these chats and these questions that you guys bring up, and these things that I maybe might illustrate to you guys, and these people that I might highlight for you guys will expand your horizons and make you guys more comfortable and more strong in your financial destiny. It's carpe diem every day, and rent is due every day. It was a very fun saying that we had back in the day. And if you think about life that way, if you think about always moving forward instead of just staying stagnant, you are in a very small percent of people. Even to this day, with all the education and all the free tools and all the AI, I see it every day. There are so many people that don't appreciate their full potential. And you got to be conscious, you got to be awake, you got to be aware, you got to be there, and you got to be present. Present. And I'll say it a third time, present. Because if you are not seeing what matters right now and what's going on right now, you're at bay of the environment. It's kind of when like a lobster is sitting in a tank and there's, you know, sort of drift. If it's not moving, if it's not swimming, it's getting swept away, you know? So be kind to yourselves, analyze where you are, analyze where you want to be, and what's going to really make you happy. There are bad transactions, and those transactions are usually bad because something either unexpected happens or because the property just really doesn't fulfill the need. So be careful out there. Think about what, who you talk to, compare rates, and really, talk about your options with different people, because it's about opening doors, not just for today, but for the future. All right. I did want to shout out an event that's going to be out this weekend. So if you guys have a little bit of time, I did want to show you that my dear friend, Bimdayz, it is a company that actually does events and pop-ups. They do vintage. They do artists sometimes will come by and play. There's food sometimes. There's all these little trinkets and old things, pop culture things, cards, memorabilia, sports memorabilia, some things that are sometimes graded. There's all these different types of great products that these vendors collect and bring with their tables. So I wanted to show you guys their flyer, and I wanted to invite you guys to stop by and see them. It's Bimdayz, Bimdayz. at Instagram.com. Their online store is on eBay. So you can find it at www.bimdayz, BIMDAYZ.com. And you can see a lot of the different products that Josue has been collecting and curating. Maybe you need some gifts. Maybe someone needs something that's a little bit more on the cooler side. Maybe something a little bit more on the not traditional route of gifts, a little bit more special and sentimental. So see the stuff that he has. They have events all the time. I think their last event for this year is going to be December 16th. I just want to take a second and shout them out because they have been so supportive of me. Really, the whole Days family has been perfect. Bimdayz Sports, and Yesterdays have all been phenomenal. And really, I thank you guys so much for shouting me out. And I can't thank you guys enough for all the support. So thank you again to Eric for earlier today. Thank you for you guys for participating in these lives and just checking them in. Please, I invite you guys to go back and watch that one. And also, leave me questions and comments in the pages of where you see this, because I look at them, I see them, and I would love to teach you guys more about the stuff that you guys want to know. So again, my name is Hugo Quintanilla with Long and Foster, North Potomac, Rockville. I'm licensed in Maryland. My phone number is 240-389-4846. Email hugo@lnf.com. And my website is yourrealtorhugo.com. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. Have a great afternoon and be safe out there.